Joining me now is Morgan Lekstrom. He's the president and CEO at Blackwolf Copper and Gold. Great to see you again.
Yeah, good to see you.
Big news since we last talked. Let's get into it. The company has decided to basically combine forces with Treasury Metals. You're creating a stronger company. You're going to develop the Goliath Gold project. You've called this a win-win from start to finish. So give us the broad strokes highlights of what this is and why it happened.
So you look at what Treasury Metals has is a fantastic team. They've got the right people to build a mine. They've got the right people to expand what they're doing. And when we looked at this, we said, well, we have the right people on the exploration. We have the right people on the capital market side. And we said, I think there's a strategy here that fits Frank Giustra's buy-build strategy, which is starting to put a pipeline of buildable production scale type assets together. They have a federal EA in place, 3 million ounce resource, and they'll produce about 110,000 ounces a year. Now, if that was an individual asset with no future production plan, they'd probably be trading 400 or 500 million market cap, right? So we looked at what happened in the past, the valuation decrease, and how close the values were on ours to theirs. And we said, well, look, Blackwolf shareholders have had, quite a bit of downtime, call it the downtime lately, and we wanted to expose our shareholders to a much larger asset base and a much higher chance of a multiple, right? So when you look at a re-rating standpoint, we think that the Treasury Metals team, again, with Jim Gowans, and who's the CEO of De Beers and co-CEO Barrick, like big name, Jeremy White's the CEO, who's a 40-year mine builder. So you have all the right people to do this buy-build strategy. So when you put that together with what we have, Niblack being right on the port, it can become a part of a pipeline. Instead of a single asset company trying to make one thing work, same for them. So it became a quick win-win for both sides. The combined company will have about $16.5 million in it right off the hop. We'll be focusing heavily on advancing permitting, which the federal EA is in place. So you're going down to provincial. That's Jeremy and the team will be taking that. We'll start going hard on the exploration. We believe there's a significant district there. We have geologists, we have engineers on staff in the Fiore group that have looked at this as well. So when you look at a much larger district, then this becomes, hey, it's not just 3 million ounces. Hey, yeah, there's going to be a 6,500 ton per day production plant there, but you can find higher grade. You can find other projects. The Goldland and Goliath project are about 28 or 30 kilometers apart. So that's 30 kilometers of exploration to be done in between. They're on a 65 kilometer trend. And originally they've been focusing on getting it to production. So we're going to split those efforts into two, our group, their group, and combine. And we work very well together. So
now, as part of this arrangement, Treasury Metals raised more than $6 million. You mentioned Frank Giustra and the Fiore group. Frank taking about $2 million of that. So obviously you wanted to have him on board because he's an existing shareholder with Blackwolf. What's the significance of keeping him interested and going down this buy-build road, which he likes?
Yeah, look, the raise was done primarily out of our office. We wanted to bring some capital into it. Frank will be an above 10% shareholder in this, which is great. You have people like Sprott Lending in there that's probably over 10%. Might be slightly under now. You have Extract Capital, who's one of the biggest capital firms for the mining space and excellent shareholders as well. A lot of long-term view, right? So when you position those views and what Frank's good at, like Frank's good at many things, but what Frank's built over and over and very good at is the buy-build strategy. So we said Blackwolf is not a buy-build strategy right now. Let's make it a part of it. And that's why, I think Frank has a lot of money in Blackwolf. He has now a lot more into the combined co. And it gives him leverage and gives our shareholders leverage to something in a rising gold market that will re-rate. We fully believe that.
Other things on the go, you amended a couple of agreements with Teck Resources and Matrix Camps and Logistics. This is having to do with the Niblack project. So what are the significance and broad strokes of those?
Yeah, so that's how we advanced Niblack. We advanced Niblack during this transaction, and I don't know if we've done it's definitely my fault. I haven't done enough market communication on why we did that. look, what we settled with Matrix was we didn't settle debt. We actually ended up using shares to buy the camp. So you have a 60-person camp sitting there. And it was something that was installed years ago. There was some debt from it, but we worked with them and said, look, let's just buy that camp from you guys, and then it's a wash. You can become long-term shareholders. So that happened. It took a number of months to set all that up, but that sets the site up now for a potential direct ship model. There's a full build underground, and then the tech agreement was, if you go into production or if you become less than 35% shareholders of a new co, there's a $1.25 million payment. And so we worked with Tech and we converted that into shares in Newco. So now Tech's on the share register. They're known for being very long shareholders as well. So now you've essentially ridded Niblack of anything and actually positioned it to go and be a part of a production pipeline in the future.
So combining these two cultures, are you very confident that it'll be fairly seamless, or are you anticipating maybe there'll be some obstacles here and there?
I've spent a lot of time with Jeremy and Oren and Rachel, their senior leadership team, as well as Jim Gowans and their chairman of the board. I think it's seamless. We've had them over. We've been at Frank's house for dinner. I've spent a lot of time with them. I talk to them probably 2-3 times a day. We're very aligned. And that's what's going to be key for this, is keeping their alignment on the project focus and our alignment on the finance and the exploration focus, and developing that news flow in that district. And yeah, they've been actually really, really amazing to work with. Jeremy is very, very sophisticated, very intelligent, very much the mine builder you want to be building your mine. And same with Oren. Oren's a fantastic, not just a CFO, but he understands that whole finance dynamic because he's been a part of them before. So you have people that have done this. You have Rachel, who's been a huge part of permitting and for other mines like the Victor mine, very involved with communities. So again, I think it's the idea of how we function together is we get information on each other's areas, but we stick in our lanes, but we learn enough about each lane that we can be a part of that conversation. So I think it's going to be a pretty win-win team.
And I should point out, you'll be the president of this new entity. And just lastly here, Morgan, if you could sum up your thoughts and maybe let investors know, those who have been in Blackwolf or maybe following Blackwolf, that this is a win-win, and it's really worth their while to consider.
Well, look at the gold price. That's what I can say, and the copper price. So copper and gold running, Niblack's highly leveraged to that. I've always said that. So is the Goliath project with Treasury. But you have more near-term production. So as the equities flow back in, as risk comes back into the space, which you're starting to see it's a top-down effect. It's going to hit the mid-tiers and major first, and then it's going to go into the developers, which is what we'll be. And then it goes into the broad-based equities, which are the more high-risk exploration targets. So we've essentially de-risked Blackwolf as a company by bringing in a near-term production asset with the right investors and right people to build it, while giving us the upside of the commodity space. So as I'm a shareholder of Blackwolf and a shareholder of Treasury Metals and here in the future, that was a big part for me. I had a change of control that I forgone, and I said, give it to me in RCTV. There are options. I want to be as invested as the public in this. So we're here for the long term, and I think this will bring a lot of value once it gets re-rated.
Congratulations, and thanks for the update.
Appreciate it.
All right, great stuff. We'll be following Morgan Lekstrom, currently President CEO of Blackwolf Copper and Gold, soon to be President of Newco Treasury Metals, correct? Or or maybe a new name, yeah?
Yeah.
All right, okay. We'll be following. We'll be watching. Thanks a lot.
Thanks.